Hello, everybody. No mail today, so I'm going to take this opportunity to do something I've been wanting to do for quite a while. One of my subs and regular commenters has been asking about doing TTM and getting started and how to get started. And today we're going to do a real simple, as basic as you can get, TTM request for a couple baseball cards or football or whatever you're into. And then after I show you how to do this, I have a list here of a couple of frequently asked questions that are going to come up first time you do this, first couple times you do this. Really, I encourage you mostly to get your feet wet. Is just to send to someone that's a real easy signer and just follow this first step here, these steps I have laid out. And from there, you'll sort of develop your own flair. But watch this video, do some more research and watch some other videos on YouTube, and you'll sort of get your own personal way on how to do some of this stuff eventually. So the warning I would give you is that TTMing is highly addictive. I started doing this about 15 years ago, and there's been some lulls where maybe a few months went by, I didn't really send anything out. But I tell you what, when you come home from a hard day of work and you have one of these little envelopes in the mail, and there's some autographs in there that someone signed just for you because you took the time to write to them and tell them you were a fan. It's really cool. You hand the bills to your wife or your significant other, and you take your little envelope and retreat to your hole in the wall and log them or add them to your binder or whatever. And it's just one of these little things, these little joys that makes life a little better. So anyway, I've broken this down into there's four things you need for a TTM request. One is the envelope that's going to go in your mailbox when you put your flag up. So that has the player's address here, the return address, your address, and a stamp. Pretty easy. Okay. The second thing, this is the self-addressed stamp envelope, the SACE. Number 2, your name, your address, a stamp. Okay. Number 3, letter, dear Mr. So-and-so. Tell them you're a fan, why you want their autograph, whatever. Okay, obviously this is kind of a sample I just scribbled here. And we'll talk more about some of the details on this stuff in a minute. And then the cards you're sending, 4. So we got your outgoing mail, your SACE, your letter, and your cards. So you're not going to have numbers plastered on yours, hopefully. So you just fold up your letter thusly, your cards, your self-addressed stamped envelope or SACE, and in it goes. Seal your envelope, out in the mailbox. Wait anywhere from a couple days to never, and hopefully you get it back. Obviously, the more consistently good signer you send to, the more likely you'll get back. But I am going to send to Mickey Morandini. I've sent to him 3 times, I think, since I've started doing this, and I've only got back once. And meanwhile, there's people that have got back several times. So you'll find these players have these quirks, and you just miss out on like a certain cycle where they're signing or whatever, and you just got to keep trying. So anyway, like I said, so that's the basic get you going version. I do have, like I said, some frequently asked questions. So obviously, most important, where do you get the player's address from? There's a lot of resources out there to get you addresses. There's a couple YouTubers I want to plug here. Chris Cards, Talking Ball Cards, and Card Cutter will all give out addresses in their comments or even directly on their videos, and they all make really great content. So check those out. Obviously, you can't pick and choose anybody. You're going to get who they got returns from, but they're sending to fairly common players as well. So those are going to be reliable addresses. Sports Card Forum has I think if you just go on sportscardforum.com, click on TTM Manager or something like that, you can plug in a last name, or you can even search recent successes, and that lists a bunch. Fanmail.biz, not as reliable. It's a little clunky. It also has celebrities and stuff like that, and not as good. The absolute gold standard is sportscollectors.net, and I'll link all these below. Sportscollectors.net, and you can see the recent returns for free, but it's $15 a month, or sorry, $15 a year, and that gives you access to all successes, just the entire database, the forum, which is really awesome. If you're really getting into this, you can grow your collection through the forum like crazy. People are very helpful in there. My collection just would not be what it is without sportscollectors.net. And every October, I get the little notification that my subscription's expiring, and I go into a mad panic, and I immediately pay it because, honestly, it's the best money I spend. It saves me at least $15 just in bad addresses. So I'm making money on sportscollectors.net. And if you want to send out even a couple a month, do yourself a favor, spend the $15, get on sportscollectors.net. And that's actually the reason why I can't give out addresses. Sorry. That's the reason I can't directly give out addresses, is because the user agreement prohibits me from, looking up an address for you and getting it to you. And I don't know how these other guys get theirs, but I can't risk getting kicked off the site because that's just that's the whole hobby for me. So anyway, the envelopes. So I use a press and seal with a security. Every once in a while, a player will send the request back and not pull this off, or maybe even they lick it, they're confused, and they do this. And I've always still gotten it back with the cards in it. Obviously, the other option is the lick envelopes. But if I'm sending to, a ball player who's 80 years old or whatever, I don't want to make him lick that nasty envelope, and I don't like to do it. So I'm not going to ask him to do it. I'll just risk, maybe not getting the cards back or whatever. But it's never really been an issue. But sometimes they come back, this is just loose like this. You're like, oh, crap. But I've never had it be totally empty. So I guess that's pretty lucky. Okay. My next comment or question. Okay, you might have noticed I don't have a return address on the SACE. You could certainly put your address here and here. I never bother. I figure if I can't put my address correctly here, I'm probably not going to put it correctly here. So I just figure it's totally pointless. Some people do that. Whatever. I mean, that's a personal preference. Okay, what do you write? So, in your letter, what do you write to the player? Basically, first off, you need to be respectful and polite, and just tell them why you're a fan of theirs, why you want their autograph. Maybe you're a big Detroit Tigers fan, and you remember watching them, growing up with your grandpa or something, and you would just like an autograph to, make that connection and relive a memory or whatever. Just really anything, just as long as you're polite and it's not just a scribbled on a Post-it note. And there's a guy, you can follow him on Facebook, Preston Hanna, who played for the Braves in the 80s. And he'll share like his mail and stuff sometimes. And every once in a while he'll show like a note. And someone's written on an index card, autos, please. That'll be his autograph request. Don't do that. You're just giving everybody in the hobby a bad name and making yourself look bad and stupid. So be respectful. And anyway, that's really important to me because we're sort of in this together. Players get burned out by when they get that feeling that you're just sort of leeching off them and you're not taking the time on your request, and then they stop signing, and it hurts us all. You can handwrite or type your letter. I kind of go back and forth. It just depends on my mood and what I have going on. There are people that are very passionate about this that insist that you have to handwrite and it's more personal and it's better. And that may be, but there's no evidence to suggest that they get more returns. As a matter of fact, if you look in the databases, you won't see players rejecting signing autographs because a letter was typed and signing because something was handwritten. There's no difference. So, like I said, people will get very passionate about that. I might even get some comments on this video, but there's just handwrite a letter to Tony La Russa, you get an autograph. Type a letter to Tony La Russa, get an autograph. There's no evidence to suggest it makes any difference. So anyway, I'm going to leave that there. But so what do you send? Okay. Obviously, you send something you want. Most importantly is do not send something you can't lose, right? So if it's a one-of-one that's your favorite card and you can't replace it and you're going to send it to somebody, let's pick somebody. You're going to send it to Joey Cora and hope that he signs it. Well, he's not a very great signer. So you just said goodbye to that very important card. Don't do that. Just send something you can replace. I can replace these two cards for 18 cents each. So I might have to because, like I said, I'm really spotty with Mickey Morandini for whatever reason. Fees. Some players do charge fees. Typically, they're older players or more in-demand players. Sometimes it's just a random common guy. It really depends. If you see that there's fees in the comments on these databases, on these websites, please, please, please respect those. Don't try to skirt the system. Send more cards, less money, just in hopes that they make an exception for you. Because pretty soon everyone's doing that, and the guy stops signing. And Wade Boggs was a good signer for years and years and years and years. And he would sign for $5 per. And I was able to respect that. And I got his autograph many times. I have 5 or 6 at the $5 rate. And then people started sending in $3 and 2 cards. And then $2 and 5 cards. And then $10 and 1 card. 1 card and $10. Whatever, vice versa. And Wade Boggs got sick of it. And then he stopped signing for a while. Well, the money he raises through that goes to like a children's hospital or something. So a lot of times when these players have fees, especially Hall of Famers, that's for a charity. So when you're trying to like get away with sending more cards or less money, you're taking from children and you're burning out the player and they're going to stop signing. And so now I'm not going to get something done and I'm going to get irritated. Luckily, Wade Boggs came back and started signing again at $10 per, $20 for rookies. And sorry about that. I had to pause this. Someone came into the door. Anyway, Boggs is signing again for $10 and $20 for rookie cards. And since he's holding true to that and not letting people get away with less, it seems to be going a lot better. But it wasn't really necessary. Just if people would just be more respectful to begin with. Oh, there's one more thing I thought about. I didn't actually have it on my notes. And people differ on this too. And again, you'll find your own sort of style or how you want to do things. When I send cards, I just throw them in here. When I very first started, I would put them in top loaders and penny sleeves. And what started happening a lot of times, well, not a lot of times, but every once in a while, player would sign this and immediately slide it back into the penny sleeve or top loader, and it would smear. Or they don't really know how to operate a top loader. They're an older player, and they're jamming the thing in there, and it comes back mashed. And what I've found is you're just as taking just as good a chance by just throwing them in there bare. And honestly, for me, I'm an autograph collector first. And yeah, I prefer that they come back with nice corners and stuff. But if they don't, it doesn't sort of ruin it for me. If I get this 91 Stadium Club Morandini back with a little ding here, and it's nicely signed in blue Sharpie across the front here, honestly, it doesn't faze me one bit. If it does, if it's really important to you to have razor sharp corners on your TTM autographs, then yeah, play around with different ways to protect them when you ship. But like I said, it's very likely they're going to get damaged anyway, because the player's not going to care that your card's going to grade a gem at 10 after he sends it through the mail. But again, a lot of this is just like personal preference and developing your own flair for things. So meanwhile, how do we do? 15 minutes. That's kind of a long video, but you get the meat and potatoes in the first couple minutes when I do the 1, 2, 3, 4 things here. Use those resources, websites that I mentioned, and just get your feet wet. Pick somebody really easy. You'll find like Ron Gant on there, and he'll sign as many as as many for anybody, pretty much. Look to see how many they typically sign. If you see that, I just keep picking people off random off the stack. If you see Michael Kadire usually signs 1 out of 3 that are sent to him, just send him 1. No big deal. No need to send him 8. Meanwhile, if you want 8 Ron Gants, you could probably get them. I think that's a lot still, but he's a nice guy. He'd probably do it. So anyway, just play around with the databases and the websites, and like pick somebody easy. Yeah, just pick like Ron Gant or somebody who signs for everybody. Mike Cameron, although now he's working during the baseball season, but pick somebody like that. Find a card of theirs, send it off just to get your feet wet, and when you get that first envelope back, boy, I tell you, it's just really cool. And people that don't do this hobby can't really understand, but you come home after a hard day and you see one of these in the mail. Oh boy, I got one. And just the reveal, tearing the envelope open. And that's why I do this. Here's ones I did yesterday. That's why I do this on camera, is I'm sort of hoping to recapture some of that experience with you guys. And one day I'm going to pull like a super rare, like an Ichiro out of one of these, and you guys will get to experience that with me, and I think that's pretty cool. So anyway, that's it for now. I'm going to get this uploaded. It's probably going to take about 3 hours, but anyway, I hope this gets you started, and just love the hobby, and just enjoy, have a good time, and always be respectful of the process and the players and what they want you to do too. So we can all enjoy this awesome hobby together. Thank you. Bye.